All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching those ads. They'll pay us our wages, but we're getting into Acolyte for the first map. HellraiseR versus PenguiN. Let's get wait for PenguiN to join us too. Taking a quick breather there. We got some shout outs to do while we get this going. So while we may have missed you when you hit us live, thank you very much to ZvP4X for the 7-month resub. Wee! Thank you very much to Rebel Dragon 86 coming back for 13 months to say lucky 13. Tony Ban as well 89 comes back for 23 months to say most dedicated casters. You know it, baby. Thank you Siege Tank 855 for that brand new Prime sub, as well as Mr. Indecisives. He's both rock. Thank you for joining the Base Trade Brigade. Yeah, we've been talking about our sub count a lot in the off-stream stuff. It sucks because we have been going down, guys. This was a big thing that I talked about with my subs personally and my thoughts on it, but currently at 961 subscribers, and the last time we broadcast was 970, so on that decline. Feels bad, man. So all you guys who do Prime sub, we really appreciate it. Helps a lot. But PenguiN was toilet. Oh, toilet. I was trying to figure out a word that was supposed to be. But he's in the bathroom, I guess, and now he's back, so let's get into the game.
Oh, okay. Yep. The best thing about being sick is just how beautiful you feel. Your face feels like you're just,
Marauders!
an extra 5 pounds on it.
It should shoot up.
Oh.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, I think, for me, the thing I most dislike about being sick is actually just when you get that runny nose that won't stop. There's like nothing you can do about it. I don't care about the way it makes me feel bloated or anything like that. I'm just like, I'm sick of sniffling. Just stop.
No, I hate sniffling as well, but it's just, I feel like my face is just full, and I don't know how else to explain it, you know? Because it's all the congestion, and it just feels so... Oh, it feels like I have... Well, I guess that's why people say like their head feels very heavy, sick, and that's why they just want to lay down. Makes a lot of sense to me now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, get well soon and what have you. Quick shout outs to that $20, very generous, coming in from Goth Girl Games, saying good work and fun tournament, keep calm and stay amazing. But thank you very much, Goth Girl Games, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
But getting into game number 1, it's the semifinals for the Corsair Cup, and we've had a rowdy bracket so far, guys. In the bottom left, coming from Korea, it's the blue Zerg player PenguiN.
In the top right, as the red Protoss, it's HellraiseR.
Okay, so we just watched PenguiN fight against Goblin, and I don't know, it was weird. I don't know if he's gonna pull out weird things like bailing busts or otherwise against somebody like HellraiseR, but again, I want to really put this out there for everybody. Like, this isn't an ego thing, this isn't a disrespect thing, but for most Koreans, even like I would say even especially the lower tier Korean players like PenguiN, not bad, don't get me wrong. I doubt they're studying up on their opponents. I doubt HellraiseR's a guy he fights regularly, right? So there is this element of surprise maybe on HellraiseR's side of the equation. But I think he'll have the same problems Goblin did, where if PenguiN gets to like 4 bases, like any good Zerg player that knows how to macro, it's going to be a tough game.
Well, I think the same thing could be said about Goblin. We initially were talking about just like surprise kind of on this guy's side, as the Korean players aren't going to be playing much against them. HellraiseR is even less well known than Goblin is, I guess, to the base trade watchers, but we did get to cast him a few times for the Gameland qualifier, I believe it was.
Yep.
So for seeing his name, and then he actually started doing well in Corsair Cups. I think he even beat Mana at one point, and Mana's pretty good at PvP, so that's like really impressive.
Yeah, actually, that was the first week we finally got to pay him prize money too, which was cool, because of course it's top 4 that qualify for a little bit of cash. Not a lot, but a little bit.
So yeah, the whole description here is leading up to the idea that HellraiseR might just be a guy getting on the map, so to say, as a European Protoss. Not quite as rare as the European Terran, but definitely rarer than European Zerg. And he's doing so by some pretty solid mechanics, you know, not necessarily like super cheesy or well known for his mass oracles, although maybe every Protoss will be in a couple of weeks. But much more important things are happening right here, right now, and that PenguiN is not looking to test his macro game immediately. Once again, first game against a Protoss player goes for a Baneling Bus.
So again, like Mech Depot, I can understand a little bit of the logic to this, where, okay, unlike Mech Depot, you can wall off, but there's too much to wall off on this one. Mech Depot has too little space, but Acolyte has too much. To actually continually wall this off would be so expensive.
Yeah. The snowball effect will probably be very real. And
Yep. Nope, actually you're incorrect, because it was like a shotgun to the face.
no snowball available. Okay then.
There was like, you know, everyone's having like the snowball fight in the cul-de-sac, right? But then like one parent comes out and they've packed like a bucket full of snow and just dumps it on some kid's head. That's what just happened.
I rewatched Beauty and the Beast. I don't remember, did you see it?
Not the new one. Not the new one.
So I feel like there are some like tone problems. Like it wasn't my favorite movie in the world. I actually liked the Beast more than I liked Belle, like blah blah blah. But it had some like good moments. But one thing that always felt really off to me was that during the scene where they're figuring out that they like each other, you know, like there's something there wasn't there before or whatever it is. There is a snowball fight, and Belle like casually throws a snowball to Beast, and then Beast of course responds like a huge snowball, and literally Emma Watson just like face plants on the floor from getting hit from this thing. And I'm like, that was kind of weird. That was comical in like a bro comedy sense, not a.
Well, that's also what just happened in that game, right? Like,
it is absolutely what happened in that game.
But this to me at least, I think almost gives a little more credit to Goblin, for example. Not to take anything away from HellraiseR, but it's like we see the dynamic of how differently those two games went, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think that just. It's funny too, because I think he would have had maybe an easier time even if he had gone for the other natural, I should say, on Acolyte. We're talking about like too little space versus too much space, and then just also a general lack of scouting is always going to be what's most impactful.
Well, Bizzle Reef was selected for the second map, so we're going to get into that now.
As it always has been.
Yeah, one of the more commonly picked maps. I do like this map pool though, significantly more than the last one. I think a lot of people are seeing some problems with Mech Depot. Okay. But that seems to be the only, like, because last season there's so many problems with so many of the maps. This one has been pretty widely accepted by most.
It has. The last map pool was just so bland for me. Again, I didn't really mind it. It just was very bland. I like the construction of these maps.
Well, spawning here in the top left, we got the Blue Zerg player. Up 1-0, it's PenguiN.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot
in the bottom right,
10, baby.
Yeah, shut up, Zombie. Go ahead, Zombie. Go.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is HellraiseR.
And big thank you to FKLEJS, because I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for the $10. Real nice, saying, my life for BaseTradeTV. My life for BaseTradeTV. Thanks for the 10 bucks, dude.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
I feel like we've officially, actually, let me just double check this before I say what I'm about to say. So that's $30 so far today in total.
Okay, is that how much we made this month?
I was gonna say, I thought that'd be how much. It's okay, not that bad. This month we're at like 200 bucks, but like that's still like a lot for all things considered. Thank you very much, guys. It feels loved today.
Yes, quite. So someone says like, what does this toss even do against that? And you know, we brought up the difference of that game versus the one with Goblin and how easily Goblin was able. So you can, you know, get both of those replays if you sub and then check them out yourself, see which one did what better. But also, I can just tell you straight up, scouting it usually isn't even that much of an issue, because what PenguiN does, and he doesn't do again, apparently, it's just the thing he does for the first game, he goes for a 2-base version of it. Like, it's not even a trick third that, you know, the pro had literally just stayed at third base, would have been like, there's something suspicious about this. But he, you know, as scouting wasn't available, it's extra difficult to do too on Acolyte, since the Adept probably won't reach all the way back to the in-base expansion that Zergs take as the third, not the natural. Like, that was definitely problem number one. And I think HellraiseR is even like, we can see the probe still sticking around on the third base. I think he's gonna be a little more paranoid, but we know, as we saw last series, PenguiN just apparently likes to start things off with a blast. doesn't do that again for the next one.
Well, might not be big and flashy and bane busty, but I guess we did see him play really well against Goblin's non-bane bust games. Oh, that's a dumb way to phrase that. But the point is, like, whether it's Mutas, whether it's Hydras, I'm actually, I would almost hope to see Mutas again because I'm curious if he can pull that off more than once, or if that was just like a, okay, I got away with it this game kind of build. But regardless, again, for me, even though people in chat are saying Aligulac states otherwise, and apparently HellraiseR actually has a winning record versus PenguiN. I haven't actually looked that up myself to confirm, but I would still say just watching PenguiN play against Goblin, like, just generally speaking, PvZ looks really good for PenguiN.
I'm not too surprised to hear that about Aligulac. These are the guys that we sometimes just don't get around to casting when there are bigger names out there. You know, the bigger Corsair cops with Nurtio, Showtime, Uthermal, a Laser, like whoever else. So we do get to miss some of their matches that they play, and I would not be surprised, as I was not surprised by HellraiseR beating Billowy, if HellraiseR beats PenguiN on the regular. And that is, I guess, something to know. Well, that was a PvP. HellraiseR's already taken down one of the other Koreans, trying to bust in and take the Europeans' money.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot scale, I'm a 10, baby.
Today.
So chatty today, Zombie Grub. It's so nice.
It's only happening when I'm already talking.
I know. Well, they don't know that, right? It's the stream delay. But thank you very much. Mokyun for the $10 says, welcome back, Zombie Grub.
Thank
How
you.
weird is that to have Zombie Grub welcoming back Zombie Grub with a I'm so hot statement?
Ian, welcome back to my home.
Yeah. Well, welcome. I mean, we've been gone for a week, so it's still a welcome back to the cast.
You've been gone for a week. I said we both haven't been casting for a week.
Yeah, but the difference is I've been still streaming on the channel like every day. Got that PUBG life, y'all. But okay, the attack commences on two fronts. This one, mostly killing Lings. This one, I guess the drones finally got pulled too, so a couple died, but this really isn't too bad for PenguiN.
No. In fact, actually, it's bordering on quite good for HellraiseR. No, never mind. 7 hits is too much. Just kidding. It's actually very good for PenguiN. Then that's a lot. It was, you know, the first step in HellraiseR's plan, and maybe doing this distracted PenguiN from scouting, so he doesn't scout how many Stargates there were. But that's they actually got very close. No, I saw. So yeah, it was just absolutely not worth, because now HellraiseR doesn't have anything to defend his third base. He's gotta wait for these oracles, which might just come out in time. There's maybe not quite enough Lings.
Well, the attack on the other side of the map was very flat, and the adepts come in for round 2. Even if it's just pulling the drones away, this is still causing damage. Big income losses through this.
Oh, he's not.
Oh, are we not using game hurt?
Wait.
No, we
Actually,
are.
I was
Never
wondering
mind.
about that too.
Yeah, the hotkey was being not responsive, but I figured out. Okay,
Well,
just gotta
for
mash
me, it
it
was
4 or 5
like-
times.
There was just no drones going down, and I was gonna mark firing, but apparently that was correct. He wasn't focused firing to begin with, but then adepts coming to the natural too. These drone kills are starting to really rack up despite an initial good defense.
Yeah, 17 now gone. Do me a favor real quick though, and restart your Discord. I'll talk for a moment here without you because you're starting to cut out a bit. But yeah, as Zombie Grub just noted, guys, like this was a considerable amount of damage done now with 24 dead from this attack and a grand total of 33. PenguiN is not comfortably getting anywhere this game, and unfortunately for him, with such a low drone count, things like these Ling run-bys, he can't really even afford to throw away. Like these suddenly go from these silly, cheap, cost-efficient units to invaluable. It's the only army he's going to have for a while, and if he loses this all here to force fields and this Oracle, there's no replacing this because he has to drone. He has to make up the losses.
This is pretty bad. PenguiN doesn't have a response to the growing mass Oracle threats, and he's only just started this response now. Hydralisk and Aspire. Which one is he really going to go for? Because he definitely can't afford both. That might have just been the swift move that HellraiseR needed to just really end the game. The potential here for PenguiN is quite low after being cut at a pretty pivotal time, after not getting to third base when maybe he could have if only he had 10 more lings. It's Oracle now.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit high, but I'm not so much even concerned about the oracles. It's the fact that there's just actually everything coming down behind this for him. And while PenguiN is still getting his tech up too, like he's getting to the Hydra's Den just finished up, Spire's on the way. He's actually supply blocked, for example. No Overlords on the way at all.
Yeah.
HellraiseR just let me help you with that supply block, though. I got you, bro.
Yeah.
I got your back.
Maybe I should have tore down the Spore Pro first, but either way.
Well, another game 3. It's hard to complain. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys, while we get into this third and final map of the semifinals. Number 1. After this, of course, it's going to be Nurchio versus what is surprisingly Ziggy, who defeated Raynor on those brackets. So,
oh, shit.
That's a cool update. We'll see you guys here in 2 minutes. All right, folks, a little bit longer on that break. We're actually still waiting on PenguiN to join us. Maybe he went to the bathroom again. I don't know. But as soon as he's here, we'll get...
Way after I even invited him the map, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, the lobby's up, we're ready to go. He's like, Ascension, please. Ascension to Ire, please.
Yeah, it was really weird.
All right, well, we're going to hop into what we said was game 3. For you guys who just joined us on the cast, you're watching the semifinals for this week's Corsair Cup. And it is tied up now 1-1. Now, some people are commenting on my microphone and stuff from the last game, a lot of discussion about it. So here's the thing, guys. I don't have any bass boosting going on. I just actually took the time to set up the settings on my microphone. I am, as many of you are out there, one of those people who cannot stand listening to their own voice. So with Joey having done our YouTube videos in my own, like, aversion to hearing myself talk, I haven't actually been watching a lot of our VODs recently, and I was like straight up embarrassed to hear how bad my mic was because I never configured it correctly. So I went back and finally did it. So it's the same microphone I've been using for the last 1.5 years. It's just actually set up now. Also, holy hot guacamole, the Muslim. 1,209 viewer host. That is fantastically generous, sir. Thank you so much for that host, and hello to all the Muslim fans. I do have bad news for you, though. I think all the Terrans are gone at this point. Feels bad, man. But of course, if you guys are coming from the Muslim stream, come on over to the BaseTradeTV channel, and thanks again for that love, dude. We're hopping into game number 3. As said before, it's gonna be the Korean Zerg player coming across server. Things tied up 1-1. It's PenguiN.
In the bottom right has the blue Protoss. It is HellraiseR.
Of course, again, this PenguiN not to be confused with the other PenguiN who was from My Insanity, now in Sidestorm Gaming. It's really interesting though, because I heard people in chat say like there was the win record in favor of HellraiseR against him, right? And that's like such a small sample size because it's like 4 out of 5 games. You're like, how much could that really mean? But while game 1 was so good for PenguiN, HellraiseR demolished PenguiN that last game. Like the minor adept harass didn't do much, but it snowballed quickly when compiled with each of the follow-up attacks. And I do worry that PenguiN might not actually know how to deal with that, with how bad that got. Without how out of hand that became.
Yeah. Well, the first 7 adepts dealt with so easily. I really gave him a lot of credit with dealing with the other ones. And then initially the next 7, first 5 seconds, not so bad. But paired up with the oracles, paired up with the second attack, that's when things got really deadly. It is a little worrying. But maybe just it was a blindside kind of thing. Like maybe PenguiN hasn't had to deal with the mass oracles, was expecting 2 oracles to stay at home, do my amount of damage.
I feel like there's like a 0% chance he's not had to deal with Mass Oracle yet. It's just so popular to do right now.
It is. Maybe he thinks it's not a European thing. I don't know. But he was definitely blindsided by not just the oracles, but just like multi-pronged adept attacks. So I think it more likely was an issue of PenguiN maybe being a little... Because PenguiN seems to be kind of an aggressive guy. Obviously, bailing bust the first game. Second game, he tries to counter with Lings. Get that Nexus. Lings constantly running around. Maybe he just wasn't considering his home defense enough, basically. By the time he did, it was already a little bit too far gone. Not sure, but it didn't bode well for what could be another one of those games, because there's nothing really inherently, cheesy or all-in with what HellraiseR did. Yeah, if you lose all your adepts, then a counter on your third can be difficult to deal with, but that wasn't the case last game, so I think he could do it again.
All those cool war chest skins. Actually, some interesting discussion on Twitter among several different people who weren't even tweeting in the same tweet lines. Some players and obviously casters talking about how you know, everyone at some point has brought up the topic like it'd be nice if you just turn off skins, right? Sure. But the interesting thing was discussing skins in the production tab.
Oh yeah.
Do make me take a moment to go like, wait a sec, what's that unit again? But I don't think it's been anything bad. But I'm really curious for you guys, the fans who are tuning in. Like, do you care? Like what's your opinion on like skins in the production tab? Should this still just be a normal probe even though we see it skinned out here? Or should it be skinned to match the unit? Because this was not a topic I'd actually seen brought up until like literally yesterday.
I know Fear Dragon brought it up in that Twitter interaction thing, and he was like, I couldn't tell the difference of Reaper and a Marine. And I kind of looked at that tweet and I was like, Fear Dragon, I think that's just you, man. I don't know. I've seen the production tab skins and been like, that looks so weird, but I've never been like, man, that carrier sure looks like a, you know, like, I don't know. I actually don't know what it looks like. I've never looked at the carrier, the skin, and been like, I don't know what the hell that is. That's confusing.
Can anyone tell me the difference between getting good and being Fear Dragon? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. The Reaper and the Marine are the only thing I can kind of give credit for because they are both single bio units that are kind of blocky on the production tab. And I can also imagine, I think the real problem is not going to be in the viewer's eyes up right close to the monitor. It's going to be in the viewers that are in live attendance and the casters that have to stare at the monitor that's 6 feet away.
Fair
then
enough.
Maybe.
So it is mass oracles, by the way. Another Stargate coming down as we speak, and that question of like, can PenguiN deal with this is going to be answered this game. Quick revelation did tag the links, so he knew full well this was coming. He sets up some good SimCity in the mineral line, which I don't even know if he'll keep this pylon. It might just actually be for just SimCity. But regardless, these links will not get too much done. They do drive the oracles home though, but I don't think these oracles were planning to do much damage. They were probably going to wait for the next 4 to 6 before actually going in.
Well, that's certainly true. I mean, you can start off with 1 or 2 oracles, just as you would in a more normal, old-looking game. You can also just wait for a lot of them. And he has seen 2, he hasn't seen 3. It's still maybe a little bit questionable. But PenguiN is getting the response that seems to be the correct way to go, which is Infestors. You still have to survive the initial period, though, and Hydras can be tricky with doing that. Queen's a little bit sturdier, got Transfuses. Sporecrawler's obviously a little bit sturdier, too. That's like the first line of defense, and then maybe Infestor Hydra later on. I mean, look, he's only getting 1 Hydra right now, and HellraiseR is already up to 9 Oracles.
Well, yeah, the strategy is Ling Hydra, not Ling Hydralisks, right?
Ling Hydralisks?
Well, it's Ling Hydra, singular.
Oh, no, yeah, I get it. Oh, it was gonna cancel.
Yeah, that was a nice snipe off, but it's always surprising to see that many Oracles come in, and I just don't know if there's going to be enough. Takes out that Sporecrawler pretty easily. No energy for Transfuses. Exactly. Oh, gosh.
That still might not be enough Oracles, though. It's a little bit questionable. He was rallying the rest in. Juice. Or if there wasn't a second Sporecrawler, I think.
Alright, so he's going to have to give up on the attack for now, but still takes out like a pretty good amount of the anti-air. PenguiN is now making more Hydras, of course, but I really like the Infestors most with this, I think. The Oracles are great for a lot of things, but if they're clustered up and a fungal hits, it's not like, oh my god, the damage, but it's more like, oh, now they all can't get in range to fight, so their damage is cut.
Yeah, exactly. The range has been a big issue with the Infestors, with the fungal. But the fungal won't actually be ready as they pop out. Pathogen Cleanse was not researched, and they could be targeted. Not enough Hydras still. Sporecrawler wasn't quite done, but it's only 1 anyway.
Sporecrawlers, they get like 2 or 3 shots off before going down. They're like useful, but barely.
Yeah, it really is. Like, they are support to a mass amount of Queens and Transfuses, or support to a mass amount of Hydras. And they do have energy now. So
yeah, but I think he didn't click to check. So, like, what's scary about this is, like, he may have dived in there not realizing, like, 1 or 2 fungals were good. But he does pull back entirely, just, I guess, entirely fearful that, okay, I don't need to check the energy to know that only 1 had enough.
I think you can kind of tell. I mean, I've certainly
missed a quick eyeball for sure.
To be honest, but I think that's far enough gone on energy.
Well, it confirms now with that, ooh, Phoenix and Revelation.
Oh god. Even a tiny amount of adepts, or usually in most cases charge lots, can really complicate things for these infestors and these hydras. It looks like PenguiN has survived that early game that is so scary against the growing number of oracles. And now HellraiseR must be going into charge and storm. But he is going in there with 4 bases, 74 probes. His production is truly blossoming with 9 gateways all slapped down at once.
Yeah. What's great about this too is, I mean, like, you're gonna have minerals to float. He's not spending them, right? Like, he's floating a lot of money right now because he's waiting to just warp in crazy amounts of zealots to back this up. And these oracles throwing down traps everywhere makes it not guaranteed there will be a no attack in the meantime, but it guarantees it'll be difficult to pull off an attack in the meantime, as there is. This is worse than creep tumors. My God.
This is kind of
everywhere.
What's really silly is we've seen absurd amounts on a defensive level. Not this many, but still like 6, 7, 9, whatever. But to have them in the middle of the map everywhere, that's going to be true.
Yeah, it's not even like there's this element of this that's going to be, okay, maybe he doesn't get screwed by it, but he's going to have to stop, kill. Like, there's no counterattack. There's no decisive move here. Yeah, catches a good chunk of the hydras, almost all the zerglings. I mean,
it's so much.
It's just so many.
It's so much map presence too that if HellraiseR had charge and a decent number of charge lots ready, anytime a trap like this went off, yeah, exactly, he could just go in.
So many hydras are caught. He sees the infestors though. If he didn't have that revelation and he went in there, that could have been dangerous. But at the same time, these hydras, when they come out of this, they have to be protected. These oracles might just be camping and waiting.
Charge lots.
Oh God.
Yeah. The infestors are going to get a fungal, though, and that's, I mean, the same problem as the oracles have, but even worse for charge lots, not able to actually reach those hydras.
Ooh. Yeah, and the oracles are completely denied through this. That was a lot more fungals than I anticipated.
Oh, run! Ah! Okay, well, some of those could have survived. It was. I mean, the energy that was gained was truly astounding. It was like full energy infestors, but whoa, Archons look so dope when they're morphing in the new skin. It's like a universe, man. So he's got Archons now, and he also still has a lot of bank and a lot of consistent income for more charge lots. So I'm scared for HellraiseR, but maybe he has a shot to bring his army back up to a decent level.
Infestor Shark here is kind of scary. It's got enough energy for one really good fungal. Man, these look like hallucinations. That bothers me.
A little, yeah, they do.
But the skin definitely looks cool. It's just the color. Like, if this was different, not blue.
Into the cannon range.
Alright, 60 straps are still almost going off, but not quite. PenguiN does have, like, a numbers game here on his side, but it is a lot of, frankly, just Zerg units versus Archons, and Archons are going to be pretty good in most scenarios. Charge lots might be able to do some clean sweeping, but that's where all these banelings come in, right? Like, that's a lot of banelings.
They're trying to... Oh, the rest of them are definitely going to hit the charge lots. Not a good enough army here for HellraiseR.
Nah, PenguiN just concaving in on this. A couple of stasis traps left, but really its cannons are the only real defense at this point. Because the pylon, he denies a lot of the warp-ins, but does it a little bit late. No focus fire. It means more charge lots he has to deal with, and he won't get to kill this base.
No, he won't. And that's a lot of supply that looks unbeatable and supply-wise, but just Hydras, charge lots take care of those.
Well, this was a terribly expensive fight for HellraiseR as well. He lost all the oracles. He lost all the Archons. So, like, yeah, charge lots are doing pretty good here with cost efficiency at the end, but I don't think HellraiseR replaces his units that were expensive and good at the same rate PenguiN does. Making more Hydras, it's just a matter of injects.
Okay, well, those are very awkward units. Well, HellraiseR is on 5 bases and 13 gateways. Like, if there's one thing he can remake, it's charge lots. So PenguiN definitely needs to make more banelings. If he has banelings, I think HellraiseR is truly game over. But, you know, that last fight didn't have any, so it was okay.
We also didn't have speed that last fight. Now he does. A little extra health on the banelings too will be nice.
Yeah. I think HellraiseR, I mean, he definitely, not even a question, he could have fit in Storm. He was banking enough minerals and gas that there's definitely an opportunity.
God.
He obviously needed it.
There was like no influence from the Hydras in that fight at all. That was all the banelings just rolling in. This reminds me a lot when we were casting Rogue last, like just last week. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago. He's just making like 50 banelings at a time, rolling through Protoss. Kind of feels like what PenguiN's doing a smaller version of.
The Oracles ended up being amazing because they don't have to worry about the banelings. They just took out so many Hydras.
Literally air units.
That puts them back down to even. They both run such a powerful economy and powerful production that it really was composition versus composition. And I thought PenguiN had it with those banelings against the charge lots, but Oracles come swooping in, killed just enough Hydras to help out the army, and things are looking back to even. I mean, like literally even. PenguiN has like slightly better upgrades, but
actually, what's crazy? We look at the what is the shift down for the units lost, right? Almost no workers, almost no economic damage in this game. Just that one base snipe from earlier. But man, seeing 14 Archons and 72 Hydras dead, that's also like a super expensive units lost tab.
Those probes are dead.
Well, here comes that economic damage, right?
Yeah. Now luckily he's at 70, so actually he's on 77, really? 16 probes down, he's on 61.
Yeah, and with Chrono Boost, I think making this back is not going to be too problematic. But still, 16 probes is 16 probes, and finally some economic damage gets done, but is it even enough to matter?
I'm wondering if it's worth the gas investment. Probe remaking's not that bad, but that was a lot of banelings. Well, the game continues on, and it's...
He's still in layer tech, too.
Oracle. Yeah, no Spire. You know, last game he tried to get a Spire, but really it was just game over by then.
You know, what's really interesting, too, we talked about the Oracle's been great because the banelings, right? At the same time, I feel like if PenguiN went with, like, even just a small handful of Corruptors, those would be great because, well, what's going to hit those?
Yeah, that's what brought the Spire. You know, I think if there was a case of a bit of a surplus of economy and bank that he would have already thrown on the Spire, and he would have maybe made 6, 7 Corruptors. But it's been kind of a tight game. One that I think PenguiN thought he was going to win once or twice, because he had a 30-40 army supply advantage. He had a compositional advantage when those banelings were made.
Well,
Yet he
it's
wasn't
not
able
that,
to
but it's
quite
like
push through.
really big highlight moments of, oh, I took out all the Oracles. I killed how many Oracles this game? Like 21, right?
Yeah. And he was very close to not remaking those infestors, I think. Those were remade about 20 seconds ago, so they do have enough energy. This is going to be a huge mistake by HellraiseR.
Only if he gets caught by the fungals, though. First one, not so hot. Second one, much better than the last. And, of course, this is going to be cleanup town for the Hydras. It's a little bit difficult to do because most of them died before the fight began, but he still trades out. This is such an eerily similar fight, though. 18 workers dead on his side of the field now.
So many Oracles. I mean, that was a lot more expensive. Pretty sure.
I wonder what was more expensive, like the banelings or the Oracles?
Well, it was like 15 banelings compared to 10 Oracles.
Yeah, but the 10 Oracles did also kill like 3 or 4 infestors and a ton of Hydras on top of it, right?
And a ton of Hydras. Yeah, that's true. The Oracles might have been better. I don't know, man. HellraiseR.
Well, I mean, look at the resources lost, right? Like, this is a very close game.
It is, yeah. And supply-wise, HellraiseR's at a loss right now, but the resources lost very even. Their economy now is pretty even.
If you had told me this game would have gone this way after watching his series versus Goblin, I wouldn't have believed you. Because like this was such like a one-sidedly easy series for him against Goblin. I'm not sure what it is about HellraiseR that's different. Maybe it's just slightly better macro. Maybe it's the tactics to the Oracles and the micro. But he's having a much more difficult time for sure against this player.
It's so weird because we know Goblin as an Oracle player, but we didn't see any Oracle, not real Oracle play anyways, like we're seeing from HellraiseR. I think it was the Oracles.
Maybe Goblin's not an Oracle player, but he's an anti-meta player, right?
Okay. He's a hipster Protoss. Gotcha.
Yeah. So now the Oracles are in the meta. They're no longer cool.
Oh, we have a carrier on the way.
Doesn't look like a carrier to me.
I don't know what that is, man. What could it possibly be? I mean, it's just like, the thing is, you're right. It doesn't actually look that much like a carrier, but the general shape is close enough, man.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be like, that's an immortal, clearly.
I was actually just going along the lines of this looks more like Protoss version of the eggplant emoji, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. So the main base was one base that was totally taken care of against the Oracles. Not really worth going in there just to kill a bunch of Spore Crawlers. These banelings have +2 now. I didn't even realize they didn't 20 seconds ago. Those are the worst use of them, though.
The carriers are kind of a moot point for me in terms of, like, I actually don't care that he's going carriers so much. It's the Storm that entices me so much more.
I'm actually really not a fan of the carriers right now. He might be thinking low economy, which is weird because they're both on like 5 bases, but I guess it's been 17, 18 minutes. I don't know. And that would end up winning out, you know, range, micro-ability. He's thinking about pure air too because the Banelings keep wrecking his ground army. But for me, I think a better investment would be into more Archons and Storm and then maybe.
You know, even if it's not Archons, I think just Storms alone, period. Like, he knows there's Banelings, and that's it. That's the reason enough for Storms to be good.
You do need some support for those Storms, though.
Yeah. By the way, the Interceptors totally look way cooler than the Carrier does, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Okay, see, that production tab, I'm like, there's TIE Fighters in StarCraft?
What's this? Yeah. Actually, it's like, what is this new Protoss unit? It looks so dope.
That one I give a little credit for. The really new players that come in after BlizzCon are going to be like, whoa, Star Wars.
Just so everyone's aware where I stand, by the way, I love skins. I think skins should always be on. I think you should advertise the crap out of the skins, blah, 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 blah. I don't care that they're in the production tab at all.
I think there was a reasonable fear they would be too different, but then I think we played it and then realized it wasn't, so. Yeah,
you're like, oh, the very first time I saw it, it made me go, what? But then literally every time after, it was fine, but this was crazy damage to that probe line. You know, he was on 70 for so long. Now it was down to 60, then 40, now 22. And this base might even go down. Fungal's catching a lot of the oracles. This is looking like the end. GG. Carrier's not even used, by the way. So
yeah, what type of ending was that, honestly?
I really wish it had been more Templar, more Storms, and all this, but all right. This leads us to our other semifinals match. So coming up next is a best of 3 of Ziggy versus Nurchio. And the winner of that goes on to fight against PenguiN. So we'll go to commercial break. See you guys in a couple minutes, and we'll get that series going ASAP. Thank you for watching. By the way, don't forget to hit the follow button while you're here, guys. I do want to point out, like, it's probably annoying for some of you to hear us constantly pushing follows. But there's a lot of cool media sites out there that you can look at stats for. I would suggest Social Blade, and what I want you to do is go look up BaseTradeTV and Social Blade and look at our month-to-month data, and then look at last month when we started talking about our follower count. Holy fuck. So we'll see you guys here in a few minutes. Stick around.